please speak about the difficulties of dealing with teenagers and their reluctance to communicate or participate in family activities. You know, I've had 2 children, and I'm very blessed, I feel, because I never had this problem with teenagers. And so many people have asked me this question. So I actually been watching and studying and working with a lot of teenagers. I think the problem is not the teenagers. I think the problem is many of the parents, one, expect them to be a certain way. Not expect, demand. Now, Gurudev always say, how can you tell somebody not to shout if you are shouting? I'll give you an example. I had a mother and a teenager come and see me in the office, and she said to me, you know, my daughter, everything I say she rebels. Everything I say, this is the matter, everything I say she rebels to. I can't tell her anything. I tell her, go make your bed, and she doesn't do it. She just doesn't do it. And the girl is going like this. So I asked her, what do you have to say to it? What your mom said. I don't want to say anything. She's not going to listen anyway. No, no, no. Mom, would you listen? She has something to say to you. She'll get angry if I say the truth. No, no, no. Will you promise me, Mom, you won't get angry with your daughter if she says the truth? I won't get angry. Well, the truth is, Mom, you don't ask me to fix my bed. You don't ask me to have my breakfast. You tell me, it's breakfast time. Don't you know I have to rush to work? You better run and get your breakfast. You have to fix your bed. Mom, you never speak to me nicely. So why should I speak to you nicely? So I asked the mother, is it true? She said, well, not really true, because they just test my patience. Oh, what kind of views do you have? You know? Children do come to test our patience. That's their job. It is. They're the greatest teachers. The other thing is, I think, lack of trust. We're so fearful of the world outside. Drugs, alcohol, all these things. Wrong friends, wrong people. We are so fearful. So we pass this fear. We prejudge events. And we put these thoughts into our children's heads. This is going to happen if you're going to do this. This is going to happen if you do this. So what happens? They want to rebel. They want to know for themselves. They want to find out themselves. They want their own experience. They don't want your experience. You remember when you rebelled? When your mom said, don't do that, you go and do it? I remember I rebelled. I rebelled all the time. And why did I rebel? Because I wanted to show my parents there was another way. In the Indian community, I give you just a little example. In the Indian community, in those days when I was brought up, girls weren't allowed to dance, do art. You know, you get married, have children, sew and cook. And I loved to study and I loved to learn. And I loved school. So what happened was, I told my mom, I love dancing, I love music. I'd like to go to dance school. You cannot. But Mom, I'm not doing anything bad. You cannot. So what did I do? Save all my pocket money on a Monday after school, booked myself into modern jazz lessons, never told Mom. I was a naughty girl. But in my heart, I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong. But in my mother's eyes, for her generation, I was breaking all the rules. And I knew she was right. I was breaking her rules. But I had to move forward. There was this energy in me. And then when she found out, because I was asked to perform in school, and all the parents were invited, and I was in charge of the dance group. And Mom and Dad saw me dancing on stage. They didn't even know. They had no choice because the nuns, I was in a Catholic school, the nuns said to them, we are very proud of your daughter. So I was very blessed by the gods. paid for my dance lessons. But you know what? I stopped taking lessons once they said yes. I took it for 2 years when they said no. The moment they said yes, no more. I wasn't interested in the lessons anymore. And I think it's that kind of thing that teenagers have, that, you know, they need to, every era is different. They want to learn, they want to expand, and they want their opinions to be recognized. And I think a very important element is trust. You know, I had a secret message with my children. You know, I always used to tell my husband, you know, when he used to say, I don't think they should do that. I said, no, you know what we'll tell them? Do it. I trust you. Mom, can I go to a discotheque? All my friends are going. You're too young, my husband would say. I said, no, darling, they're so good. Why would they do anything to hurt us? I trust them. But if you are 1 or 2 minutes late, will you give us a call? They were always 5 minutes early. Until they both got married, they always called me. They were 5 minutes late. And you know, in Spain, people don't go home from a discotheque till 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. And still, it was a rule when they came home, kiss on the cheek. Not to call, wake us up too loud. They were older then, they were 22. Still, the habit was, they'd walk in the room, kiss on the cheek. Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Sorry to disturb you. And to bed. And for me, I think this trust thing is, if you tell them you trust them, and be very truthful. Never lie to teenagers. If they have problems in the home, tell them. For example, my husband and I were very, very different people. And because you're very different, you're bound to argue. Normal, right? Yes, no, yes. As a children, at a very young age, I remember, I caught them once and they were both shaking and crying. I said, what's going on? Mom, Dad, you were arguing. I just start laughing. Start laughing. Why are you upset? Don't you both argue? Yes, we do. Don't you love each other? Yes, we do. Well, Dad and I love arguing. Why aren't we allowed to? We love each other. Why aren't we allowed to argue? Do you think you're so special? You're the only ones that can argue when you love each other? We can too, you know. I can also tell Dad I'm not going to speak to him. I'm angry with him. You tell that to your sister all the time. And then they understood. So there was no fear. So whenever they heard an argument, I'd go, we're moody again. We're moody again. Just leave us alone. We're both acting like children. So there was no fear in it. Do you see? There was no fear in it. And I think you have to be very truthful. Teenagers love truth. Something's going wrong, tell them. When you're not sure about your own life, tell them. And another last thing I'm going to say, ask their opinion. I always ask their opinion. I hope I answered your question.